President Obama kicking off his economic tour yesterday. Here's what he said about gridlock in Washington.
I sincerely believe that there are members of both parties who understand this moment, understand what's at stake, and I will welcome ideas from anybody across the political spectrum. But I will not allow gridlock or inaction or willful indifference to get in our way.
Joining us now is the chairman of the Joint Economic Committee, Republican Congressman Kevin Brady. It just, just hearing that, it almost sounds that gridlock and inaction won't get in our way. It seems like that just is exactly what we have, and that looks like what we're going to have and what we've had. So I don't know, it just sounds weird, Congressman. Do you see any hope?
Well, yeah, hope springs eternal. Unfortunately, I think this president contributes a great deal to that gridlock. I'm just surprised Occupy Wall Street didn't protest that speech yesterday, because this recovery, Wall Street's booming here. Joe Sixpack, middle-class families, they're just getting hammered. You're 7 times more likely to be forced onto food stamps since this president took office than to find a new job. I just think we need a whole new direction when it comes to the economy.
Congressman, what was weird that I saw yesterday, the front page of the New York Times had it outlined exactly what the Republicans in the House want to do to the budget, and contrasted what they want to do with the spending that the president wants to do, and it was absolutely staggering, which seems to be setting us up for a huge battle with the debt ceiling. And the markets don't like that, and people say the economy will keep going along fine unless we have another one of these. Someone presses the pause button again, and we go back to gridlock, that actually affects us in Washington. It looked absolutely hopeless for what you guys plan to do to that budget.
I'm tired of these crises too. I think they ought to be avoided, but you don't avoid them by going out making campaign-style speeches, rallying the troops, but not actually sitting down with us and working out this issue. The truth of the matter is, we are spending way above our means. Let's work out those problems. Medicare and Social Security are in real financial trouble. We all know what has to be done. Mr. President, just come do it. What I don't think helps is just a continued blame game and call for higher taxes, more stimulus, more regulation, and then hoping the economy improves. Your businesses, Main Street businesses are telling the president, this is what's keeping us from hiring. I just wish he'd listen to, he doesn't have to listen to us, just listen to them.
I think, in a perfect world, I wish the president would meet with his adversaries in a room, and it doesn't have to be smoke-filled, but closed doors, and see if there's anything that he can get done before the next election in 2014. But then again, I think if I were the president, there is something to be said that his enemies won't let him pass anything at this point. Even something you could say 10 for every tax dollar that you raise, you cut $10 in spending, and you've got guys in the House that would even say no just to make sure that the president doesn't get anything done. But then he gets divisive on the other hand and gives 6 more speeches, talking about them, and it just, both sides just keep moving further and further apart, and there's even more animus created.
I don't really see it that way. I know the old balance line that's sort of, been worn as a bumper stick for a number of years. People, I think, are tired of the balance game that keeps changing depending on who uses it. The truth is, we ought to be able to come together to agree on tax reform. If we don't like this sequester the way it's applied, but we agree that we've got to get spending under control, then let's change it. And we all know we ought to be taking, in fact, in the president's budget are some pretty common sense steps on how to make reforms in Medicare. We actually are getting pushback from Democrats in Congress against those, common sense reforms. I actually think there's a lot of common ground, but you got to get off the campaign trail. You actually have to sort of lower yourself to come talk to members of Congress and work this out.
Congressman, this is Rich Bernstein speaking. I'm not happy with either side of the aisle these days, but I'm an investor. I'm not a politician. I have a very simple question. Consumer confidence is at basically a cycle high. What's so bad about what's going on? Has the household sector just become stupid here? I don't understand whether the president yesterday or you today, why is consumer confidence at a cycle high?
Yeah. Here's my thought. You look at the economy since the recession ended. One, government spending is above where it was before the recession began. Consumer spending is above that as well. What's missing? Business investment. Businesses on Main Street who, by the way, also have a lot of cash in the economy.
But sir, isn't the stock market at a cycle high too, sir? I mean,
yes. Do you think the Fed has had any role in stimulating the stock market high? But we're not hiring, and it seems to me that's why even the AFL-CIO called this recovery pathetic. 200,000 is the new low normal in America. The truth of the matter is we have 20 million people who can't find a full-time job. We're still missing 4 million jobs from this economy. And I'll tell you again, average worker, average Joe six-pack, their take-home pay is getting hammered. So I don't believe this myth that everything's going well in the economy.
Congressman, I thought you and Bernstein would get along. You got the same barber and all, but
he's a handsome man.
Yeah, they both are.
You're jealous, Joe.
I am jealous.
You are jealous.
I mean, if you rode a motorcycle,
Join us, Joe. Join us.
I'm sure the congressman will agree.
Come over to the dark side.
Very erudite.
All right, let me just take it off. All right, thank you, Congressman. We appreciate
Thanks.
it. Coming up, breaking economic data. We've got June durable goods.